Knick family. Welcome to Dope Soul Sports Talk, a member of the MBK Network. We're back today for the second time this week. We usually only go once a week. I was thinking about dropping a video of what my personal trade proposal would be for Donovan Mitchell, but I said, what the heck? Let's just go live. Let's put it out there, and you'll let me know whether you like it or not. I think you might have some problems with it, but we shall see. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button so you'll be notified anytime I go live, like today, not my usual night, um, or drop a video. I'm joined today by resident panelist Jarrell. How you doing?
Salute, Steph. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. We're gonna get it going just like we do on Tuesdays, man. Like Dope Soul Thursdays might be a thing too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, right.
We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, things are changing fast. Right before I got on Who's Mark, um, DM'd me or responded to a tweet and said that now Utah is asking for 7 first round draft picks plus all of our youth, and that now Miami is in the picture. They told Miami if Miami got a third team that they would consider that trade. Look,
Mm,
I think they're bluffing.
right, me
I
too.
think the Knicks are holding strong, and they want to get another team involved to put pressure on the Knicks to come off of whatever limits the Knicks are putting in their offer.
Right,
That's what I think. He sent me also a Fanspo the app, a three-way trade with Miami and OKC and Utah, and it didn't even work. It was a failed trade.
right.
So so
Okay,
we'll see. I think that the Knicks have the best package. I still think that at the end of the day, we'll still have young players on our team. I think we'll still have draft picks on our team as well. Um, but yeah, just your thoughts before we talk about. They seem to be really high on Grimes as well. But just your thoughts in general, and then we'll talk about Grimes, and then I'm gonna share my trade proposal.
okay. Yeah, I like the proposal. My thoughts is I think the hang up is probably can be Grimes because I really
Okay,
don't think RJ is in the trade. Like I don't think
right. I don't think
RJ
so.
is in the trade, so I don't think it'll be a hang up. I think it's like a non-starter with RJ.
Right.
So I think maybe Grimes is the holdup, and they want to keep Grimes. I don't think the holdup would be somebody like, well, not somebody. I don't want to try to downplay him, but somebody like IQ or
hmm
Obi. I think they hold Grimes in higher regard, which is the Knicks. I mean,
Right. And shout out to Pudge Nice. Pudge Nice, I appreciate you always rocking with
Lou
MBK,
Pudge.
always rocking with me. He said, Grimes' last Nick game today.
See, see, it might be
And Mark was saying, building blocks. Appreciate you, building blocks. Is Grimes suiting up tonight? That's something we did a show on MBK. I was a panelist earlier, and
right.
that's what Who's Mark said. No, no, it was either Who's Mark or Isaiah said, if Grimes don't suit up tonight, we
You
know
know what
he's
it
in the
is.
trade.
You know what it is, and it's happening soon.
Yeah, I do think this trade is going to happen sooner than later.
I saw a report saying that it could either take hours, days, or even weeks. Still, never know. Like
Never
we
know.
shouldn't. Like I know Knicks fans are excited, but if it don't come like before the weekend, then we can't make ourselves go too crazy.
I agree.
Right.
I agree. What I like about that's why I'm comfortable with whatever the front office offers in the trade
Hmm.
because I don't think the front office is going to be reckless.
Right.
You
But
know?
are you comfortable with them losing out on Mitchell because they're too? You know what I'm saying? Like they
Yeah,
don't
I
want to.
do. I think now, don't get me wrong. If you tell me that I like Grimes,
Right.
I want to keep Grimes out of the trade if at all possible.
Hmm.
But if you're telling me that that was the difference between us getting Donovan Mitchell or not,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
going to
hot.
be upset.
Yeah, I'm hot. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
But if they want
yeah.
7 first-round draft picks, they want Fournier, Cam, Rose, all of the young players, then yeah, I do think you need to step back. I think
Right.
that's being a bit ridiculous.
Yep.
But I'm not gonna let Grimes as much as I want him out of the trade. And when I get into my trade, I will I will explain why I want Grimes. Yeah, I wouldn't be mad, if it was something massive,
Right.
you know, because the point is I'm hearing that the front office wants to have some lottery picks, some assets left over for another trade. I mean, like we talked about earlier, Donovan Mitchell is not enough.
Exactly.
And you're still going to have to fill out this roster, even if you give up two or three young players, right? We're still going to
Yep.
have to fill out the rest of the roster. So I think the Knicks are being smart.
Okay. Me too. I agree.
Yeah. Salute to everybody in the chat.
Salute. Salute.
Daje Graybird. I don't know if I said that right, but salute. Sherwin. Appreciate Sherwin. Drop the M. Appreciate you,
Salute,
Sherwin.
Sharon.
Harlem Girl, Tiffin Smith, appreciate you. Angel Torres, appreciate you as well. JJ always rocking with us. I know, Sharon, you don't think Donovan Mitchell is worth it.
Right.
I do. Depending on. But
The
let me
package.
throw
Yeah.
yeah, let me throw my the Knicks play at 7:30.
Okay.
They have a summer league game, and I believe they're still in the running to play for the championship game if they win tonight. I
Yep.
believe. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
I think you're right.
Okay. All right. Let me just drop the link really quick because I know once I put up what I think the Knicks should offer. Let me explain first before you send the smoke. All right. Let me
and,
explain.
and before the
Yes.
smoke comes,
Hmm.
I'm already going to say I agree with you for the most part. Like that's pretty much my package also,
Okay. All right.
to a
All right.
T almost. So
Okay. All
yeah.
right.
So we'll both be getting the smoke once they see this.
Okay. All right. So let me put it up. All right. So this is my trade proposal for Donovan Mitchell. The Knicks receive Donovan Mitchell. Utah receives Fournier, either Rose or Cam, IQ and Obi, and four unprotected first round picks. And so I see the start, and I will go over why I included each of them. The potential starters I have Brunson, Donovan, RJ, Randall, and Mitch. Now we're gonna need some shooting. That team right there, they're not great shooters. We're gonna need some shooters.
Hmm.
The bench. If we trade Rose, I don't know if McBride is ready to be the backup point guard. We may have to go out and get a point guard.
Right. I agree.
I have Grimes. I have Cam. If Cam is not included in the pick, then that's fine. He could be the backup three. But if he is included, who's backing up at the three position?
We're gonna need to get somebody else again.
We're gonna have to go out and get three. Mello, question mark, or any veteran power forward that would command just 12 to 16 minutes a game. Because remember, there's not going to be a lot of minutes left playing behind Randall,
Right.
right? And Hartenstein. And I just put this here. I think this is a formality. Obi and IQ have team options. If they're not picked up, they become free agents. If they're on the Knicks are going to pick those options up. They'll be here um, next season.
Hmm.
Um,
One.
Mega BK. Yes, go ahead.
I was about to say one thing. You might want to put Sims on there because he can potentially be
Oh,
off the
that's
bench.
right.
He can play the four also. I
Yes,
think they'll play him and Hardestein at the same time.
that's a very good point. And the other thing is, like, I worry that you know Sims at the four, he can't really stretch the defense, but that's okay as long as one
Right.
is staying under the basket and the other one is playing away from the basket. It
Exactly.
could still, it could still work. But
Hmm.
let me just get into. So I included Fournier, Rose, or Cam for salary cap purposes, right? We have to make the salary match. Also, from what I understand, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, they want short-term contracts. That's why I don't think they would take Randall. Like they're
Right.
really looking to clear their books and start over. So they don't want long-term contracts, which Randall would be.
Hmm.
Randall's contract doesn't even start until this season coming,
Right.
right? RJ, we wouldn't include him anyway, but I don't think they're fighting that because I'm pretty sure they don't want to trade for RJ and have to sign him to a max contract.
Right.
So I don't think the Knicks are getting any arguments over keeping RJ Barrett out of this trade.
Hmm.
Now, this is where you may disagree with me. The reason why I'm including IQ is I feel like we already got smallish guards with Brunson and
Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell.
Hmm.
IQ is 6'3", but he's still a smallish type guard.
Right.
My preference would be to keep Grimes, who's bigger, stronger, can guard the two position, can shoot just as well, if not better, than IQ. IQ wasn't very efficient from the three, anyway. But now you gotta go out and get a point guard. Whereas if you
Right.
keep IQ, he's a combo. He could play between the one and the two.
Hmm.
You know, will still be small, but he could play between the one and the two. And the reason I included Obi is I just don't think there's going to be a lot of minutes behind Randall.
Hmm.
Go out and get you a veteran who's okay playing 12 to 16 minutes a game. I don't think the Knicks are going to trade Randall. And if they do, they're going to get back players anyway. So
True.
it's not like they're going to trade, Randall for junk. But anyway, what's your thoughts on it? Anything you would change? Um, and then I'll get to the chat.
Okay. I would probably, just because of your point guard situation, I would probably try to keep either IQ or Rose.
Okay.
Even if, and they probably will want IQ to me.
Okay.
But I don't know. Rose contract kind of matches with Fournier if we're going to trade, for money wise. Like Rose
Right.
actually makes sense money wise because we kind of let the money match too, right?
The money has to match.
Right.
Now, this trade was successful in Fanspo,
Hmm.
but you know what? Did I do both of them? I know I did Fournier and Cam, IQ Obi. Did I
Hmm.
do Fournier and Rose? I may not have done both of them
Because if
because
you do,
Rose makes 14, Cam doesn't make
he don't make
maybe
that much.
he doesn't. He makes maybe 5.
But Rose and Fournier, them alone almost equals Don. I don't. How much does Donovan make this year? Because it has to
I
match
think it's
whatever.
30
Right. So Fournier and Rose, when you
right
combine them, they make over 30.
by themselves.
Right.
Yeah. And I think
So
you don't have it doesn't have to be exact. I think you
right.
can go over. But
So
even sorry,
what
go
do you
ahead.
think about Mega BKNY in the chat said Pat Bev? What do you think of him bringing him along with
Listen, I
That's
tried to
nice.
do that trade. I tried to do
Okay.
that trade, but he can't be traded until August 30th in a
Ah,
package. In a
in a
package.
package.
You could trade him for him individually. Some sort of rule.
Mm,
So like
okay.
you could trade for him one on one, but he can't go in a package until August 30th.
Mm.
Yeah, from what I understand. I would love in a perfect world, well, in a perfect world, it would be even better than this. But on the second team,
Right.
Pat Bev and Grimes,
Perfect.
right?
That
If
would be
you
perfect
think
for us. Yeah.
that would be perfect for us. And then, I don't know if Tibbs would do this because he does like to close with his vets, but defensively, maybe a Brunson. I don't think Donovan would sit to close if we need more defense.
Yeah. I think our even to take Brunson off the floor in the fourth quarter, that's kind of sketchy too, though.
That's true because as much as Donovan would help us scoring in
Hmm.
terms of playmaking and like running a team, I'm not that convinced.
Right. RJ
Yeah,
would definitely have to step up on defense.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
my thing. He
Yeah.
has to. Matter of fact, his primary focus should be defense going forward if Mitchell is on his team.
Listen, this is why I think RJ would be perfect for this team. First of all, I think in terms of the expectation of him, like he can grow, come into his own at his own pace because
Hmm.
he wouldn't be the number one, right?
True.
Now you got somebody that's an all-around player. You know, he's a willing defender. He can pass. He can bring the ball up. He can rebound.
Yep.
He can go downhill. He's getting better at shooting the three. Like that all-around player that you're going to need on a team like this with Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Julius Randle. You're going to need a guy like that. So I think RJ Barrett is actually perfect for this team. Obviously, providing we do make the trade.
Hmm. Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Um, Let me just see what the
Some,
Melo's a Laker. I think Melo is
yeah,
still a free agent.
I'm not
Um,
sure. I thought somebody else didn't they give somebody else his number and everything. Somebody else wearing 7.
yes, somebody else is wearing 7.
Yep.
And I wonder, I think it's a summer league guy. Was it Christie?
One of them. No, Christie. I think is 10. I gotta look it up, but I think they did give somebody his number though.
I think so.
One of the rookies, one of the young guys. Maybe it might be even Scottie Pippen Jr. I gotta check.
Might have been. Might have been. Appreciate you, Sherwin. I agree with your offer. I'm not giving them 4 though. 28 IQ Obi and 3 picks max. No Cam, Grimes, or Sims. Okay. All right.
See,
Um,
I don't know. They'd take that though.
they asking for 7. I,
Yeah,
I
I
think
wouldn't give them 7 though either. That's
Yeah, I
crazy.
wouldn't give them 7
No,
either.
no.
I mean, I think they want a pick-centric, package because they wanna take as many shots as they can to find that, um, that draftee that they can build around,
Hmm.
right? Who's signing in Utah as a free agent?
Right,
If you trade for them, how long they staying there? You know?
right.
So they're looking to hit. I got you, Sherm. Yeah, it was Cam. Sims proving he can be a 4. That
I
see,
don't know.
the
That's still
only
sketchy to me.
yeah, the only reason Pudge Nice where I think it would work is because Hartenstein could
Right.
probably play at least at the foul line.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And even if he plays out at the 3, maybe they'll respect him a little bit. So I
Hmm.
think in that sense, yes. But I can't see Sims and Mitch playing together.
No.
You know,
Hardest thing would have to be one of the bigs.
yeah, I just think that's just the key would be too crowded.
Right.
And
Or
Brunson, go
or
ahead.
if it makes sense, put Hardestein at the 4 and then Sims will stay at the 5, if that makes more sense. But Sims will have to be with Hardestein in order to be on the floor at the same time.
Correct, correct. Paris Doug, I appreciate you always
Salute,
rocking with
Paris.
us. If they trade that combo of Quickly and Obi, I'm done with this squad.
see,
Those two win ball games.
see that him and Sherwin are obviously on the complete opposite ends of the spectrum. So somebody's going to be mad when this trade goes down.
Somebody's going to be mad because
Right.
somebody is going to be in the trade. But I will say, shout out to Building Blocks at D Rose, the rights to Rokas,
That
3
makes sense.
second-round picks, um, take out Obi.
That
Um, uh,
I forgot all about Rokas. They might
mhm,
want Rokas too.
they
That's a
might.
good pickup.
Yeah, 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 yeah. They definitely they might Bodega Wi-Fi appreciate you. Yesterday's Pat is not
Today's
today's
Pat.
Pat.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like Pat Bev, he not all that, but don't get me wrong. Like he's still be a good standard defensive backup point guard for Tibbs. You got to think about who our coach is too.
Yeah.
He'll love Pat Bev.
Yeah, that's a good question. I would do like two pick swaps um as well. Um but they would probably have a higher pick than the Knicks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they will want the pick swaps, not us,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we plan on being better than them, a lot
Right.
better than them.
Right. Um, Somebody else said, Angel Torres, appreciate you. Rose, Fournier, Cam, and 4
Mm.
picks.
See, now, if we get
Okay.
that off, if we get
If
that
they
off, we
took
dancing
that,
in the rain. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what's up.
yeah, yeah. If they took that, we would be good because the only one that was in the rotation last year was Fournier,
Right. I'm
and
thinking
Donovan Mitchell
maybe
would be taking his spot anyway.
so maybe because OB or IQ isn't on there, or maybe not any of the young guys except for Cam. Maybe add another pick with that.
Hmm.
Rose, Fournier, Cam, and 5 picks.
But will they do it? Yes,
Right.
Sims played the four in college. I mean, from what I'm understanding, they're really going in strong um, for pick, probably more pick centric than the young guys. And I
Hmm.
think that if you want to keep your young guys, then you got to put up, more picks. And remember, the next season, IQ and Obi is going to be paid. You got to
Hmm.
think about the money as well. You're paying
Yep.
RJ max or near max. You got to pay Donovan Million. I mean, Donovan Million. That's about right. You got to pay
Hmm.
Donovan Mitchell. You got Randall and Brunson all on $100 million contract. Next season, when Obi and IQ come up, you're going to pay them too.
Right. Exactly.
You understand? And that second team, look at this first team, the potential starters. How much, how many minutes is going to be available for each of these guys backup,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
So if you got Obi, how much you paying Obi to back up Randall for 12 minutes? How much you paying IQ to back up Brunson for 12 to 16 minutes? I mean, we got to think about the money. Got to think about the money as well.
And plus, with Utah's, now that I think about Utah's position at center, they might actually ask for Sims because he's really, really cheap. And he's signed for another 3 years, right?
Who's that?
Sims.
Yeah.
Like, who's their starting center? So I wouldn't,
I don't know who they got over
yeah,
there.
I wouldn't be
That's a
shocked if they
price.
actually asked for Sims.
Right. They might. Um, because what I did read on Twitter was that the Knicks made a significant counter,
Hmm.
to what they were, what they was asking for. Shout out to TJ Queen. The Jazz want 7 picks, salary dumps, and young potential primary players. Right. Sims can't be traded for because he just signed a contract, I believe.
Okay. Okay.
And I don't think Mitch could be traded for a while. Okay, yeah,
Either.
Sims can't be traded until
December.
December. Philip
Okay.
Jones, appreciate you. Um, I don't know about the cap space. Somebody said, I think the cap, because remember, Rose and Cam, Donovan Mitchell is going to take up that money.
Hmm.
So Fournier and Rose would have come off the books. But remember, if you bringing in Donovan, he's going to take up that cap space for those
Hmm.
years that they would have been off the books. Because I
Yep.
think Donovan has 3 years left.
Hmm.
Um, or just trade Randall. Profile Clark, appreciate you. I don't think the Knicks
Yeah,
want
they
to
don't
trade
want them.
Randall. I think they want to see how he fits with Donovan Mitchell. But, and we talked about this earlier, you're going to have to continue to build this team even if you get Donovan Mitchell.
Hmm.
Nothing is in 2 years from now. You could trade Brunson for someone else. 2 years from now, you could trade Randall if another star comes up. You know, if Barrett hasn't ascended, if he levels out and doesn't become the player we all hope he becomes, and a superstar becomes available, you could. I mean, I don't think it would be Barrett by himself, but you could put together a package around Barrett. You could put
Hmm.
together a package around Brunson, a package around Randall 2 years from now if another superstar becomes available to build your team. So I don't think we're stuck per se. And I think, in my opinion, that may be the holdup. Like the Knicks are trying to keep some assets,
Hmm.
you know, one, so that they can have some depth this upcoming season, but also what if another superstar or star becomes available?
Right.
You
Because
know,
like we can't trade the can we only can trade our picks, right? I'm not sure about that with all the first round picks that we have.
well, we can trade them, but they have to be a year in between. You can't trade them back to back.
Right.
So you could trade every other year, but we could trade those other picks.
Okay.
Yes, you can trade those.
If they want those because they're all protected.
Roy Rosado, appreciate you. RJ will come back better. We don't need superstars. We have 3 legit stars in it. I don't think we have. Who are the 3 legit stars?
3 legit stars.
If
on
we
this
had
team
three
right now.
legit stars, we wouldn't even need
Yeah,
Donovan Mitchell.
and we had 3 legit stars, we would have made the playoffs.
If we had three legit stars, we would have made the playoffs. So let me know, Raw. I dropped the link too. Let me drop it again. He may not be a superstar, but keep in mind he hasn't even entered his prime yet. I don't
Yep.
think Donovan Mitchell has hit his ceiling.
Hmm.
So, he's 25 years old. He still has room to grow. But I don't think we have three legit stars. I don't think we have any stars on this team.
And plus, Donovan Mitchell, to me, Donovan Mitchell playing in Utah is not going to be the same as Donovan Mitchell playing in New York.
Right.
Like his status is going to raise up. He will become a superstar here if he comes here. I think
Yeah.
personally.
Okay, Raw. You got it. He said Mitchell will, but see, that's what I'm saying. Would be a star. And RJ would be turning the corner. We don't know that for a fact that they will turn the corner. I can't tell you how many players I've watched who ascended, and then leveled out.
Hmm.
That's possible. Just because somebody is ascending doesn't mean they will continue to ascend, you know? So we're not trading RJ Barrett. You got RJ Barrett and Donovan Mitchell together if we make this trade. And so if Barrett ascends into a star, then there's no need to go out and get another one.
Right, but that has to take place in order for me to be like, nah, we don't need any.
Right. I don't think
I got to see it first.
I mean, what does the chat think? Like, do you think because you believe a player is going to be a star that you shouldn't trade for one? And you're not even trading Barrett,
Right.
you know? Um, I agree, Steph. I was just saying that he's not there yet. Not yet.
Not
Not
yet.
yet. Right. I agree, Margaret, at which RJ has not reached his peak either,
Right.
So
But I
there's
can't.
still upside.
Right. I'm not comparing RJ to Donovan Mitchell right now, though.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I said I wouldn't compare. Like I know RJ hasn't hit his peak, but he's nowhere near where Donovan Mitchell is now.
No, no,
Like he got to
no.
hit Donovan Mitchell level before he even get to his peak.
Right. No doubt. Yeah, exactly.
And Mitchell is
Li-
a 3-time All Star. Like I can't compare RJ Barrett to even being close to that yet. Not
Right.
yet.
Yeah. Yeah, Sherwin, I hear you. I hear you. But he wouldn't be the only star that had a poor defensive rating. And I get you. You want a two-way player. It's not a lot of them out there.
Yep.
Not a lot of two-way, star players out there. Um so but I get you. If there was a 25-year-old two-way player, that's who I would want. You know, um, you know, Shout out to Daji Graybeard. I hope I'm not butchering your name. Spider is a bona fide number one option right now at 25 years old, something that we don't have or haven't had in quite some time.
Correct.
He definitely would be the number one on our team. I think the question is, could he be a number one on a championship team? It remains to be seen. He's
Right.
25. Um, but I don't think we have anybody, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we have anybody down the stretch that we can pass the ball to and say, close this out,
Right.
get us a bucket. Who
Like
do we have?
we could say it, we could give it to him, but how comfortable are you with RJ being that dude right now, or Randall, or even Brunson? Like I'm not totally comfortable with him doing that night after night. No.
hmm hmm Nick Yak. Now, when are you saying that's the position he will play, like the small forward position, or that he would be the third option on the team? I just want some clarification. Brandon McNeely, appreciate you rocking with us. I only think two-way players deserve max contracts. When everyone wanted KD that summer and Kyrie, I was saying I'd rather pay Butler. Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the philosophy of the front office. But there wouldn't be a lot of max contracts being given out
Right. There aren't
if it
that
was
many
for
superstar 2-way players. You could count
yeah,
them on one hand, probably.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. No, no, no doubt about it. Anybody else in terms of what package they would give up? Sherwin, I get you about Donovan Mitchell's defense, but this is the question I have. Does he have defensive potential?
Right,
Like there's some guys I look at, I'm like, even at their best, I'm not sure how good a defensive player they would be. So the question is, does he have defensive potential? And the second question is, just because it's been that way, does it mean it has to be that way?
right,
Right? If he's been a poor defender up to this point, are you saying he doesn't have the tools to be a average or a bit above average defensive player?
right. I think him having Rudy Gobert back there too has a lot to do with his defense and what he did for the team as well. Like like all the points that he scored and stuff on the team.
Hmm.
And Donovan Mitchell he had to pretty much put them on his back most nights.
Yeah.
So I can see why he wouldn't be the defensive star. Because back when he first came into the league, Donovan Mitchell was a good defender. He was a very good defender. His first couple
Right.
of years in the league, his defense started slipping once he started scoring more. There's a reason for that.
Right. Yeah. Um, Paris Duggar, it's been real, brother, because some young player if the Knicks trade for Donovan Mitchell,
Yeah,
some young player or two will be going in the trade. There's just no way around it. There's just no way around it. Um, yes, he is pull up stats head to head. RJ leads three stats department, rebounds and turnovers. Okay. I thought he was saying
he played a three. I thought that's
yeah.
what he meant to.
Yeah. RJ has no choice but to be the three if we get well, I think it works both ways. He's gonna be the three, the small forward, and he
Right,
might
right,
be the third option too.
right. Exactly. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, he
Shoot,
might
he
be.
might be the fourth because Brunson gonna have the ball in his hand. We still have Julius Randle and we'll have Donovan Mitchell. So
Right.
I don't know who's gonna be the three. Depends on the game, I think.
Shout out to Kareem. Appreciate you. They can't have IQ and Obi. Listen,
If
I went through it.
yes, they
You
can.
know, how many minutes is gonna be left for Obi? How many minutes is gonna be left for IQ playing behind Brunson? We already seen Obi playing behind Randall.
Right.
You
How
know,
y'all think OB or IQ not going in that trade if we get Donovan Mitchell? Like, you can't just give them the players that we don't like. Like, I would love to just give them, for me, I'll give them Randall and Fournier, just call it a day.
hmm
But that's not going to work, man. They're going to want young players and not cap space, young players and draft picks. They're not going to want, like, Julius Randall. They might not even want Fournier. That might be hanging it up, too. But he has to be in the trade, it seems like, to make the
right.
salaries work.
And he only has one more year, and so
Right,
then next year he would be an expiring, and they can get off of it.
right.
I mean, for the following year he'll be an expiring. So
And
yeah,
he fits that team, too. He fits in Utah, to me,
yeah,
the way they play. But then
yeah.
again, they might play completely different because they have a new coach now. So I guess like Fournier matched their old team, but I don't even know what directions they're going to go in.
Yeah. Shout out to TJ. I definitely agree with you. So far, the front office has been methodical and very quiet about this moment. They have planned this ever since we hired Leon. This was the setup from jump.
Mm,
TJ, I
I
agree
believe
with
you,
you.
Joe. Yep.
I don't think you look at OKC. They're developing and holding on to the young guys because they think they're going to be a part of the organization for a very long time. I think the Knicks' plan was to collect assets and trade them in for a star at some point. I think that's been their plan from the very beginning. So I definitely agree with you on that and appreciate you rocking with us. I'm a Magic fan. Air Mamba, appreciate you. I'm a Magic fan, just here to support. But if y'all get Mitchell, what's the ceiling in terms of seating and what's the floor? Thank you for the content. I've seen the argument on Twitter. Now, Air Mamba, are you talking about for just next? What I just keep hitting comments. Are, are you talking about next season or
or in general.
overall?
Yeah.
Because I think, and Gerard, I'm interested in what you think about this.
Okay.
I think we still got to build. I don't think Donovan Mitchell is going to be enough.
Right. We're not done.
I think if you brought in Paul George next season, it wouldn't be enough. I just think that we have to. You're going to need to. If RJ becomes one, if Randall returns to form, that's a quicker path.
Right.
But we're going to need somebody else. No doubt
But
about it. Appreciate you, Eddie C.
in
Let me
terms
drop
of
the link
just
in case you want to pop on and give me your thoughts on my trade. Let me put it up again for Eddie C.
word,
Um,
in terms of just next season, then the ceiling would definitely be making the playoffs. Then, if we're just talking about next season with the starting five that we'll have, with that starting five, if we don't get rid of RJ or Randall, with that starting five, we should make the playoffs.
I
But I'm
agree.
not even looking for just next year. I'm looking to go forward, just like you. Like I don't
Right,
think it's over. Like we
right.
still have to make moves after this.
No doubt about it. Now, do you think playoff top six or play in
Oh, playoff top six.
top six?
Because if we got this, if we had almost the same team, except for I'm talking about the same starting five, and we had Kemba and Fournier,
Hmm.
and we just swap out Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell, we better make the top six.
Hmm.
Or that means we need to make other type of changes.
Right. Yeah, yeah. It's me. I'm comfortable with all these players under 26, excluding Randall, still a young core. And this is what I was saying. I don't think this is the same on Knicks because you're not trading your young core for over the hill injured
Right,
type players. You're trading players who are unproven for a player who is young and proven. And I think that's a little different. You're basically, what are they cutting your losses, so to speak? Obi might become a star, IQ might become a star, they might become all-star players, but Donovan Mitchell has been that already 3 times,
yep,
you know? So I don't think you can blame an organization, I was always say, that want to get off a few maybes for a yes. That being said, they still have more work to do to build this roster. Yeah. Um
I'm reading the chat too.
Yeah, anything you want to throw up, throw up. It's fine. Oh, you don't have that. I'm gonna
Yeah,
have
I
to.
don't
I'm
have it
gonna have
up.
to
That's cool.
get you behind the scenes. Um, RJ destined to be a semi-role player if we get. It depends.
It depends.
If he pops, you can have two of them on the way.
Yep, that depends on RJ. That's up to him. Because I think he has the work ethic to become an all star, but it just hasn't happened yet. We got to see it.
We got to see.
Like I can't, we can't just be giving RJ titles and stuff. We have to actually
Right,
see him do it first. But I do, I think he has the potential to become that. Absolutely.
right, right. Um, I don't know. Um, Paris Douglas says Grimes, Fournier, and Cam plus 5 first picks and two. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But Paris, I think you're going to be disappointed in Obi and IQ ceiling.
Right.
I think you're
That's
going to
not
be.
going to.
I think you're going to be disappointed. I think those guys are going to max out
I think if that
at
was the
some point.
package, I think if that was the package that they would want, I think it would happen already.
Right?
Knicks giving that up quick.
Yeah. That's a good point. They
Like there's a
asking
reason it
they
has
they
happened
asking for
already.
more. They
Right.
asking for more of that. This is a question I have before I get out of here. I would like somebody to actually hop on. What's Obi's skill set? I know we don't want to give up Obi. Don't tell me, a lot of times what I'm hearing is he's the anti Randall. I don't want that. Oh, Obi, Randall doesn't pass. Obi does. Randall holds the ball. Obi doesn't. No, no, no. That's not what I'm asking. What is Obi's skill set by himself? What is his skill set other than being a rim runner? So if
Right.
somebody wants to hop on and tell me what it is, or if you want to type it out in the chat, I'll definitely highlight it. Um, but what's Obi's skill set other than being a rim runner?
Hmm.
Um, Shout out to Eddie C. I understand you're thinking in the trade, but me personally, I feel we will be giving up. I'm hearing they're asking
Hopefully.
for more.
I'm about
I,
to say, hopefully they'll give up less, but we're hearing for more. Like they
yeah,
want
yeah,
7 picks, Eddie.
yeah. I
They
hope
said
you're
they want
right.
7.
I hope you're right, Eddie C. I hope you're right because look at the bench. You know,
Right.
we're gonna have to fill this out. We either gonna have Rose or Cam. And the thing about having Cam is he gonna have to ball out tonight. Because remember, you got Barrett on an extension if they extend him. Um, Donovan Mitchell on 100 is something $1 million contract. Same with Randall. The same with Brunson.
Hmm.
I think they need to get rid of Cam because they're not gonna pay him.
Absolutely. Like if we get Mitchell in here, Cam is gone. He has to be gone
Yeah, because
because
they're not
that solidifies RJ at the 3. Like he's not moving.
right, right,
So
right,
they're not going to sign Cam if they know he's definitely not going to be a starter. And RJ plays a lot of minutes, so he's not going to be in the lineup. Period. Hardly.
right. I'm gonna let Eddie see, and let me just read these comments real quick in terms of Obi. Obi can leak out. He can. JJ lob threat and possibly spot up shooter. Obi jump shot improved a lot as the season went on. Yes, he did. And
That is
that's the
true.
next step I'm
Yep,
looking for if he's on this team. Get it up to 34, 35%.
that's true.
Brandon McNeely, he's just a rim running hustle guy, dives for balls, runs the floor, but that's all he does at this point. Okay.
Two things could be true at the same time.
Yes. Yes.
That's also true.
Yes. Jason Taylor, athletic, stretch four with strong defensive and scoring position potential.
I don't know about that strong defense part.
Jason Taylor, I don't
I
know.
don't
I
know about the
don't
defense
know.
part. Like he had me with the stretch 4.
I
Maybe
think he
not
has the
defense though.
potential to be a stretch four.
Hmm.
Strongly, I think his on and off ball defense, he definitely has to get better. Scoring potential, that means you got to be able to put the ball on the floor.
By yourself.
You got to be able to put the ball on the floor, and create a shot for yourself. I don't think he's there yet. I don't think
Right.
he's there yet. Um, all right, let's let Eddie C in.
Eddie, what's up, bro?
Hey, what's happening, guys?
Salute, man.
Just
Good. I
burn my tongue on
appreciate you, Joe.
some hot cocoa right now in this same instance.
That's what's up.
Oh man.
I appreciate you joining me from Costa Rica. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
I
Sunny
appreciate that.
Costa Rica.
I appreciate that.
You know it.
Your
So
your
so
your, your thoughts.
where you want me which
Either
question you want me
one.
to ask
You
first?
you could do Obi. You could do commenting on my trade proposal, or you can even present your own.
Okay. So let's start off with Obi and then we'll get to the main course.
Okay.
Um my ceiling for Obi Toppin is I just think that he's a power forward that will one day probably get you around 17 points per game, probably around 6 to 7 boards per game. Um, and the kicker is he might be a guy that can get you 3 to 4 assists per game.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
that's probably his ceiling to me, 17, 7, and 4.
Hmm.
But what I do see him as is a four who can work on the perimeter and kind of like do the Isaiah Hartenstein, rub off screens. He
Hmm.
has great vision, and he's one of those guys on offense at least that makes it easier for the offense to hum. You understand what I'm saying? It's just he's quick on his decision making when it comes to passing, and
Hmm.
that leads to people having advantages when their defender is not in position, and all that stuff kind of counts. It's probably not something that you can put on stats, but
Yeah.
those little things, the pass given to an offensive guy at the right time before the defender gets his footing, so the
Hmm.
offensive guy has that split second to make a jab, so he can get. You know what I'm saying? Those
Hmm.
types of things are very important to me. So that's what I think about him. 17, 7, and 4. I think that's a very nice player to have on your team.
Yeah. But how is he getting 17 though?
On leak outs alone, he'll probably get around 6 to 8 points. On leak outs alone, he'll probably get 6 to 8 points. He could probably get to the free throw line 2 to 3 times. Let's say 2 times per game.
Hmm.
He's a good free throw shooter.
He is.
I will
So
admit,
that's
playing with
six,
the
9, and then one 3-pointer. I think he can get around that 15 to 17 point range.
right, I'm saying playing with the backcourt that he'll be playing with. Say if he does have Mitchell and Brunson, I could definitely see Obi getting like if he started and play a lot of minutes.
Right,
I can see him getting like 15 plus,
right.
17 plus. I can see that.
Paris Doug, I agree, but that's not a reason to hold up a trade for a star. I just don't think that's a reason to hold it up. He's a ball mover. Okay. All right. He
Yeah,
has great anticipation. Okay.
yeah, but like
I don't think
right,
he's a great rebounder for his size though.
Hmm.
And he
no,
and he leaks out. Okay. I just don't think that's a reason to stop a trade. You know what I
right,
mean? I love Grimes. That's just not a reason to hold up a trade because you don't want to give up Grimes. And I like him.
right.
I really do. Um
Now, with all that being said about Obi Toppin,
mhm,
I think there's no doubt about it that he's in this trade proposal.
Of course, me
I
too.
think there is no doubt about it that he is part of the players that the Knicks are presenting as the young player in the trade.
mhm.
Um, I can be to I mean, and me too. I love Grimes, but I kind of like, you know, I said this before. He will forever be a legend in my eyes because he's the one that's going to bring me Donovan Mitchell here.
Right, right.
But you
You could
know,
always come back, Grimes. You could always come back.
he from the get since we got him, I was always a big fan of his defense, his tenacity. Then he showed me that he had that quick shot, didn't care about what anybody was thinking. He was going to shoot it.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And he just basically played himself into that position where he's one of the rookies where you're like, okay, you can, he's a big piece of a trade proposal. And now you're hearing his name being brought up, you know,
Yeah.
as somebody that the Utah Jazz really like.
Right. Right.
So in my trade proposal, I may be totally wrong.
Mhm.
I may be totally wrong with this, but for some reason I have a gut feeling that we are the ones in the position of strength,
We are.
I think so too.
We
Yep.
are.
and I don't know how we got there. I don't know how we
Leon
got
Rose,
there.
Leon Rose pulled a
Uh,
fast one on us, man. He actually
no,
was doing
man,
a
you,
good
you know
job
what
the
it
whole time.
was? Big shout out to Freezy, man. Freezy's the one that said this to me, and it stuck with me.
Okay.
Freezy said the Rudy Gobert trade totally, threw the market off,
Yes.
right? With all those picks, what they gave up for Rudy Gobert, the player that he is.
Mhm.
But when Kevin Durant became available right
Oh,
after that,
I didn't even see you down there,
hey,
Freezy,
I'm
Freezy. He
speak of
lost
the
a lot of
devil.
weight. I
Everybody.
didn't even see
Speak
you
of the
Freezy,
down
devil.
there,
Freezy,
Well,
man.
Freezy.
I was just talking about you,
yeah.
Freeze.
He was just
Hey,
talking about
appreciate
you.
you. Appreciate you,
That's
boss.
great.
How y'all doing this evening?
We
Very
good.
All
good,
We
right.
sir.
good. We good.
Good to
We
see
good.
y'all, man. Good to see
I
y'all.
had just put up earlier my trade proposal, and Eddie C was telling us something you had said. So go ahead,
So I'm
Eddie
gonna
C.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna scoot out because
Me too.
I'm cheating from my work chat just to come
Okay.
in and give my little 2 cents. And
Okay.
but Freezy was saying the Kevin Durant trade, what do you call, his asking for a trade set the market straight, because
Mm.
then you saw that the people didn't, Rudy Gobert was going for this much. Kevin Durant had to go for like 10 picks. And
Right.
you
Right.
see
Right.
that
Right.
people are not lining up to do that.
Right.
He's the greatest player available at this point in time, and
Right.
they're not lining up to do that. So he
Right.
kind of like balanced out the market
Right.
to where now the Utah Jazz are in a situation where they want 7 to 8 picks. They're probably going to get 5.
Right. Right.
So basically in my trade proposal, and I'm gonna be out with this. I think Obi's gonna be part of it. I think Quentin Grimes is gonna be part of it. You can say I think IQ staying.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think IQ stays, and those picks that we have from Washington, from Detroit, Dallas, we might have to throw in one of ours or two of ours, but unprotected, not necessarily for a protected. I don't think we have to go that far. Again, like I said from the beginning, I could be totally wrong, but that's just my gut feeling of what
that we don't
the
have to give up
basis.
unprotected. That they would accept. They're not going to take a lot of our young guys, and they're going to take protected picks. I would be happy if that was the case.
Probably the unprotected pick. It wouldn't be the 2023 one. It could be a 2025 Knicks unprotected. That's more feasible in my eyes. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? A little bit more down the road, but
if they want, if the package, if you're saying the package is Grimes, Obi, and 5 first-round picks, then I'm happy with that.
But
you
I don't
can
think they're going to accept the majority of them would have to be unprotected.
Right.
but I'm also thinking that they're gonna want to give us bad contracts too. So in Blanche Tears we actually blew it up a little bit more to where Utah is trying to get rid of bad contracts, so then we don't have to give them as many picks, but then we take on something that we really don't want, which is money.
Mm.
And I'm gonna leave you guys with that. Thank you
All
very
right.
much,
All
Steph.
right, Eddie.
Like
I
always,
appreciate you.
Jarrell,
Yeah,
Freezy,
bro.
I know you got my back, bro. I'm out.
For sure, for sure,
Oh,
for sure.
I'm not even.
Sure,
I'm
always.
not disagreeing with you
Yeah, that's
at
good
all.
stuff, man.
Right.
Yeah, Freezy. I know the Knicks play at 7:30, but you got the floor.
Hey, so first of all, I just came in to say hi. Appreciate y'all doing dope content. Appreciate y'all giving Knicks fans something that's sorely needed, and that's opinion based Knicks talk that's based in common sense and not emotion. So I appreciate y'all for that.
Word. Salute.
All right. So when you mentioned the thing about the trade, let me say this. I think that
let me put it up. Somebody in the chat asked for it as well. But go ahead, Freezy.
yeah, I think what you have here is definitely something that's on the right track. And I think both teams, if they see this, if this is what it is, I think both teams say do it. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that will hold up the thing is what's legal by the league.
Right.
But as long as the money makes sense, I think both sides won't have a problem with this. The only thing they will haggle on is when those unprotected first round picks would, you know what I'm saying, would start. Like,
Right.
do you start them in 2024? Do you
Right.
start them in 2023? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? When do you start that
Right.
every other year unprotected?
Right.
If these are all Knicks picks, right?
Right.
And they probably would, because I don't know. Do the Knicks have an unprotected pick from another team?
No, they're
No,
all
not for
protected.
So it's all Knicks picks, right? So
Mhm.
I guess the negotiation is, when do these unprotected picks start? Do they start
Right.
in next year's draft with the Knicks, or in 2024, or would the Jazz be willing to take 2 protected first round picks off the instead of 1 protected? It's just
Yeah.
that
They're working out the
part.
plan. But this
Yeah.
is what I will say though: the Knicks have 4 first round picks next year. 3
Right.
protected, 1 unprotected. Even if
Right.
they gave out the unprotected, you still got 3 protected picks. And
Right.
what supposedly, we say this every year, a pretty, a pretty good draft. I don't even
Yeah.
see the Knicks making 3 first round picks
No.
Right.
next year.
Yeah,
Right.
to me, even if they don't trade for Donovan Mitchell, they'll trade those picks regardless to somebody else.
And the downside to that too is other teams probably see that as well. So the value of it won't be as appealing to other teams, knowing that they can wait out the Knicks to make a deal, because they know the Knicks are not going to make all those draft picks.
Right.
So
That's true. That's true. And I think part of what's listen, if this was the Knicks front office 2 front offices ago, this deal would have been done already.
Right.
But I think this front office is, they want to have depth, like they said, and then you also want to have some assets left over for another player. I don't think Donovan could do it by himself. He's going to need, they're still going to have to build a roster around him.
Right. No doubt. Yeah.
Go ahead. Go, Freezy.
So I was gonna. My it's game time. Your phone always starts buzzing all crazy, right?
Always.
Right.
They don't start on time anyway. But
yeah, they don't start on time anyway. But no, I'm thinking. I heard most of what you and Mr. Jarrell said, and I agree wholeheartedly with a lot of the takes, including why, or asking the question, why are we so caught up on Obi, right? Like, what is Obi Toppin? We don't know yet. For those that say they know what Obi Toppin is, Obi Toppin doesn't give you a vibe where you know what he is. Does he have potential to be something great? Maybe. But right now, you can't say, well, Obi Toppin is an ISO 4 that can take his man off the dribble.
Right.
Or Obi Toppin is a stretch 4. Because he got hot from 3, but he doesn't stretch the floor. Most nights. He's not a high volume rebounder. He's not a lockdown defender. He's not he's not a great screener. We don't know what he is.
Freezy.
So that
I want you to come back. Don't upset the chat. I want you to come back because
I know,
they acting like Paris Duggar just said if we trade IQ and Obi, he will no longer be a Knicks fan.
He done.
I mean,
and so for one, I love Paris Duggar because he keeps me he helps keep me in the middle of the road. You know what I'm saying? And Paris Duggar does help me keep me in the middle of the road. So, but y'all, I gotta go. The missus is calling me for some duties before the game starts.
Before the game starts.
Yeah, I think she about to
close it out too.
I think she wanted me to cut the grass or something. I don't know. All right, y'all.
When you want again?
I'm on today 2 more times. I'm going to do the live stream and we're going to do the Knicks Tonight podcast. I'll do the KMD in the morning and vibes and stuff. So I'm going to be on. I'm just going to be rocking. Y'all know me.
All right.
If I don't catch you tonight, I'll catch the morning show.
Hey, listen, both of y'all keep doing great work. Keep doing great work. When I say y'all are good, listen, I don't just they say I pass out compliments like manhole covers, like I won't show nobody love. So when I do show love, y'all know it's for real. So
appreciate you.
Y'all have a good show, man. Y'all stay up, man. Let's go Knicks.
Let's go
Knicks.
Right. Yeah, I don't think Freezy is being an Obi hater. You got to just see players for what they're. Now, let me just clarify this. I will never, ever, ever say what Obi Toppin or another player can ever be.
Exactly.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say he can't be a star. I'm not going to say that because you don't know what a player could ever be. I'm just saying right now, from what I'm seeing, I don't think he should hold up a trade for Donovan Mitchell.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying.
That's it.
RJ Barrett, yes, because RJ Barrett has shown more. And some people will say, oh, well, RJ Barrett had more time. Others, Tibbs is holding him back. Others will say RJ Barrett earned that time. So there's no way to know. There's no way to know. Anyway. Yes.
Game wise, we have a little over 4 minutes left. So we actually got time until the game starts.
There's still 4 minutes left in the game before us?
Right. Chicago and Charlotte are playing there.
Oh, okay. All right.
So we still got 4 minutes left in that game, and we don't play until after them. So we got a little while.
Right. Paris. Yeah, listen. We do need to move the ball. But you can't just keep somebody because they can move the ball.
Right.
But I agree with you. We do. But you can listen. You put me on the Knicks, I'm gonna move the ball. You pass it to me, I'm gonna pass it to the next person. Like, what is that? You know what I mean? So anyway, I don't have a problem with Obi Toppin. The only thing I'm saying is I'm not stopping a trade for any of these guys. I think, except for RJ Barrett. I think RJ Barrett and Donovan Mitchell. I think you're gonna really see Barrett shine on a team like that.
Yep.
Because you're not looking for him now, putting all the pressure on him to be the leading scorer or the second leading scorer. His game is going to come real easy with Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, easy.
Yep. I can't wait for that to happen.
Yeah.
I'm more excited about that than anything. I'm more excited about RJ's ceiling going forward if Mitchell is here.
Right.
Almost if Mitchell just came here by himself.
Right, because now he can relax. I don't think I'm not saying he was putting pressure on himself, but what I'm saying is he could just take his natural steps because they got it. And he could just take his natural steps and just keep getting better and keep getting better. Barrett is he's going to have a great season with those guys. And that's what I'm saying. It helps when you have people on your team that know how to play. And now your young players can come along in time. Instead of, your team is so terrible, you need IQ to drop 15 a game.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, it was just his second year.
Yeah.
So
I think us getting Jalen Brunson was huge when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like he's going to say if IQ does stay on this team, having Jalen Brunson on this team for IQ's maturation is going to be awesome.
yeah,
That's going to be dope.
yeah. If IQ is if not included in the
Right,
trade,
right.
and
If
he's a,
he
yeah,
stays here,
absolutely,
right. If he stays here,
absolutely, absolutely. Um, yeah, yeah. And I think, and the thing, if IQ is not included in the trade, he could, and Rose is, and Grimes is,
hmm
Grimes is as well. He could play the backup one and the backup two, and
yep,
that would be enough minutes for him between those two players,
yep,
right?
exactly.
Because you got three players with 48 and 48. What's that? 96 minutes amongst three players
Mm,
instead of four. If he's playing between, so that would be enough time. Listen, I'm okay with whoever they give up. I agree with Harlem Girl. I don't think the Knicks are gonna get fleeced. I don't think the Knicks are gonna be reckless, you know? And
right,
I think if this doesn't get done, it's because Utah was adamant that they wanted every young player and all of
right,
our draft picks. And
right,
the Knicks said no.
right. If this trade doesn't get done, it shouldn't have. Let's just say that to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
No,
I don't see us just dropping the ball on this trade.
right. Right. And I don't want to hear that the trade was off because they didn't want to give up Obi Toppin.
Yeah, see, I'll be pissed.
I'll be pissed off now.
Obi, anybody but RJ Barrett. If I hear that they didn't want to give up anybody but RJ, yeah, that to me that's crazy. Salute Reggie.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You gotta yeah, you gotta give to get. Yeah, I agree, Harlem Girl. I think RJ is going to shine next to them guys. It takes pressure off.
Yep. Hopefully,
Yeah,
I
it
think it
you
will.
know it takes pressure off. Now, what I will say is with this starting lineup, we need some shooting. Brunson,
Right.
Donovan, RJ, Randall, Mitch.
We need to get some
We
shooters
need
off the
some
bench
shooters.
at least.
Yeah,
That's when somebody like Melo will come into play
yeah,
and
yeah,
should.
yeah.
If that happens, like if we do need to sign some people, then yeah, Melo should be one of them to me.
Right. So now you're gonna back up um Randall with Obi, who's another, non-shooter, at least at this point. Let's see how he improves. You got Mitch with Hartenstein. He could shoot a little bit.
Hmm
Um, this is the thing with IQ. Only reason I say Grimes is a better shooter than IQ is I believe because Grimes doesn't take bad shots, his percentage will be better. IQ shot selection brings it brings
Right.
his percentage down.
Yep. He makes like bonehead plays. He'll just chuck it up for no reason. That happens a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And Grimes plays his position. He's not
Hmm
trying to be a superstar. IQ hit two shots in a row. Oh my God, it's a wrap. He hot. Now he want to pull up from the logo. We
Right.
don't need that. We just need with that team, you just need the bench where come play your position.
Right.
Play your role, you know? Or we could take a player or two from Utah in the deal that can shoot. Yeah, because Beg, what's his name? Bogdanovich? He doesn't play.
Bogdanovich.
Yeah, he can I mean he can shoot. Mark said his defense is better than Fournier. I don't know.
They're about the same to me.
They're about the same.
They're about the same. They're average defenders at best that can shoot.
Yeah. Greenhouse said, appreciate you, Greenhouse. I think we need that though. We just need a developed version of IQ. Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
you do one thing I do like about IQ is when he's back in the role he was in as a rookie, you got that spark plug, the potential when things aren't happening, we're not scoring, we can't seem to get anything going. He's somebody that can shoot you out of a game, but can also shoot you in a game. So I
Right.
wouldn't be mad if IQ wasn't included in the trade. I wouldn't be mad about that at all.
As long as RJ is not in that trade, make it happen. That's what that's where I'm at right now with it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he could be the perfect six man. It's just that Brunson is short. Donovan is short, and even though IQ is 6'3", he light. You know,
Right, right, that's true.
you know. I'm like, can we get a tall backup guard? With some height at the backup shooting guard. And this is another thing. I hope the Knicks won't hold up a trade for Obi Toppin because of family ties. Like I just, you know,
I can see that happening though.
if you
It's all
believe in
about
him as a
relationship.
player, that's different. But don't not include him because of family ties. That's all I'm saying.
See, but when you say stuff like that, we got Brunson because of family ties.
Oh,
So
but
it's almost
Brunson
like
can play. I
it's
like
almost
you
like a
holding
gift
up
and
a
a curse
trade
though.
for Donovan Mitchell for Obi Toppin because of family ties.
Right. Exactly. Like that's yeah, I'd be pissed, but I can see it happening just because of that. Like family ties is a huge thing. Relationships in this league is a huge thing. That's why we got Brunson in the first place. So it could be a reason to keep Obi Toppin as well, unfortunately. We'll see.
Yeah. Somebody said McBride will shine in Utah. Listen, we didn't even put McBride in in any of the
Right.
trade scenarios. If they ask for him, that's fine.
Yeah, if they ask for him, he can go,
Anybody in the
obviously.
chat would have a problem including McBride in the trade for Donovan Mitchell?
Stop. Yeah, we can't. Not for no hold up. Like we not holding up a trade for that.
Right. Yeah. 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 Spider is CAA. He's family too.
Hey, it is what it is, man. We swapping one cousin out for another. That's all.
Oh, that's not. I keep
Oh, the Knicks are playing now.
They are up.
That's them playing. We ain't missing much.
All right. Listen, I'm out of here. I gotta watch the Knicks. Um, MBK Sim, he'll be doing a post game show. I'm gonna try to hop on tonight since I'm off tomorrow. I
Okay.
appreciate you guys. We out.
Peace of the chat.